Well, hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maria Moreno, and I am part of the sales team of Abama Luxury Residences. In the name of my company and in my own name, I would like to thank you so much for joining this webinar today. Today, because we have many clients inquiring about how is the legal process of buying a property, we decided to do this webinar. And for this reason, we have asked a reputed financial advisor that has been cooperating with us from 2012, probably 2013, so many years already. And he is Mr. Jesús González de Chávez. Mr. Jesús, he speaks Spanish, English, and German, and he's assisting many clients here in Abama in their purchase process, and after the purchase process, also in the financial advisor for the management of the property. His office is based in Santa Cruz, but he also operates here in the south of Tenerife. And we are gonna this webinar will last only 20 minutes. We're gonna give some basic line to orient the people on how is the purchase process, and we will have some other webinars getting more into details on some of the subjects that are going to come up here today, like mortgages and so on. Jesus, first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you. And I would like to start this presentation asking you, because I have had many clients that already know Tenerife and Canary Island, but I guess there will be many more clients that they will be not knowing Tenerife or Canary Island, and they're wondering, first of all, how is the process? Okay, how is the process? So to start, I want to ask you, does Spain, first of all, or Canary Island offer full guarantees to buy a property for foreigners?
Yes, absolutely. Spain is reproached for having an excess of bureaucracy. However, in my opinion, this is positive for those people or companies who want to invest in Spain, because it keeps the people safe. Spain is very interested in foreign investment being made. Therefore, Spain is very rigorous and establishes several mechanisms so that real estate pushes take place in complete safety and with the maximum guarantees. It's mandatory to go to a notary to buy a property. And, but that is not all. This public document must go through the Canary's public treasurer, the tax office, which registers and seals it. Yes, and once this procedure has been done, this document must be taken to the land registered office, where the property will be registered in the name of the new owner. That's a public registered office of properties, no? Yes, a register of properties. And it is backed, authorized, and guaranteed by the government. Okay. So the property is insured and protected in the name of the new owner without the possibility of it being transferred in any way without the express consent of its owner.
Okay. Well, basically, you were saying that the notary, which is the representative of the government, will have to start this process. After that, it will go to the Canary Public Treasury Office, which reinforce these documents. And in the last step, it goes to the Land Registry Office. I want to clear the audience that this procedure is a standard. I have had clients telling me that if they buy a property in Germany or in France or in Switzerland or anywhere in the Schengen area, this process is a standard. So we want to make clear that Spain is offering full guarantees, but also is offering the same, more or less the same procedure, no matter the name of what the name of the documents are, as in any European countries. Well, my second question to you, because this is something that the clients ask us a lot, is, okay, how complicated or how is the purchase process itself an easy process, or is too complicated?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have partly answered this question before. As I had mentioned, property owners is very delicate and very important issue. Therefore, it is necessary to follow a procedure, and some set they are established and stipulated by law. This procedure varies in some ways if we buy off plan or second-hand property. But in general, it's an easy process for a buyer, for a foreigner buyer. If we buy off plan a new house, in this case, it will be necessary to ensure that the seller has we call it horizontal division. That's in the case of an apartment in a building or a residential complex. And also that it has the ability certificate of the first occupation license, and even that the property is duly registered in the land registered office. And on this registered office, we could find out if the property will sold without any debts or charge. And yes, for second-hand properties, the procedure to buy a second-hand home is very similar to the offer plan. But however, you should already have your ability certificate or first occupation license. The seller is obliged to go to the city council first to pay some administrative fees and must have the annual property tax paid. And of course, the house must have no debts. How I explained on the point above, this is very easy to find out by requesting a certificate from the land registered office. In any case, the notary will check all the documents provided by the seller, ensure that everything is correct, and warn the buyer in case something is missing or any anomalies is observed.
Okay, well, I mean, basically the idea is that there are some documents that if you buy off plan, they are provided by the selling company, which is normally a builder. But if you buy secondhand, these documents, they are provided by the owner of the house. And this is it. And in both cases, the notary will have to check all these documents together with the land registry office to make sure that in any of the cases, whoever is buying is not buying a property that have any debts, which is the main concern of most. To our next question, what paperwork, or what do you need to buy a house? What are the steps to follow to buy a house in Canary Island? And this is more related to documents, paperwork, related to passport, related to contracts, related to what we call NIE number, which is the fiscal identification number, the fiscal number that the Spanish government will give to you as an individual, and to operate and buying in Spain. And also we should talk about bank accounts. So first, to buy a property on your behalf, what do you need?
Yes, in this case, it's necessary to obtain an NIE number at the police station. You need to ask for it at the foreigner department. We could even ask for the NIE at their foreigner office with a power of attorney. It must be apostilled and translated in Spanish. It has to be an official translation. It will be even necessary to register the person with this NIE on the Spanish fiscal office. Naturally, they will be registered as non-residents. Right. Along with the NIE, we must be in possession of a passport, a nationality identity document. That's only for European citizens. As the acquisition will be made by a non-resident person, they should appoint a representative in Spain. And it would be convenient to open a bank account in Spain in order to be able to domicile the electricity, also the water, the community of owners, property tax, insurance bills. This makes things much easier. However, you could operate with a foreign bank, but it have to be, of course, a European, from a European country, the IBAN. And if you want to buy through a company, you can set up a Spanish company and open a bank account in its name. For that, we only need 3 names for the company, and we will send them to Madrid to a special register, and it will certificate one of those names. Then we are able to open a bank account on the new company name. After, just sign the new company at the notary. The procedure takes about 2 weeks, but it's very simple. Yes, the difficulty that we can find is when it comes to sending money from abroad. So the society can acquire the property. Because in application of the money laundering law, the bank will require information of the origin of the capital, and several forms must be completed. However, in this case, it will be necessary to appoint at least one administrator who must be in possession of an ID. It will be necessary to determine who the person will be. The partner could be a company or physical person, but both of them must obtain a Spanish tax number. That's we call it the ANAI number. It's a número de identificación de extranjeros. It's a foreign identification number. The company must have a registered office in Spain, preferably in the province where the property will be purchased. And the minimum capital for it, for this constitution, have to be 3,020 euros. However, we're buying a property, it would be convenient to analyze the amount of the capital carefully, since the company must have enough money to be able to acquire the property. If you want to buy the property through a foreign company, in this case, the status of the foreign company must be translated and apostilled. With all these documents, the foreign company will get a tax identification number. And don't forget, as foreigner, it will be necessary to appoint a representative with fiscal domicile in Spain, with a fiscal address in Spain.
Okay, well, basically, to summarize, I want to say to buy as an individual, you must have the NIE number. The NIE number, of course, your company can help the people to have it. You don't have to go to the police station to wait there in the queue. With a power of attorney, the people can get it. It's not there that they are not going to give it to you. They are going to give it to you because purchase in Spain. So you do it automatically only when you buy a property. Then another different name. Well, for the money laundering procedures, you must follow some steps, okay? No, and correct me if I'm wrong, if the company is from a non-Schengen area, could be more tricky, but normally from any company created in Spain, it takes only a few weeks to a branch of your company that you want to open the same company, but a branch in Spain is more or less the same thing. It's a matter of translating all the documents that the companies do have it. Thank you, Jesus, and we go into the next step. Okay, when you buy or plan a new build home, we want our audience to understand what are the legal requirements, what are the taxes and the charges of the property that the people will be facing. So please explain us how is the procedure when you buy.
Yes, if we are going to buy a property in Spain and it is new, the purchase would be subject to Canary VAT. It's called IGIC. And it's a general indirect Canary tax. The tax rate is about 7%. but only in certain and very special and exceptional cases could you try to request a refund of this indirect tax. If the house that we are going to buy has a previous owner, that means other than the developer, a different person or company as the builder, I mean a second transmission, they will pay 6.5% transmission tax of the purchase price. But and that is very important. If the purchase is made by a natural person and the purpose of this investment is personal use and enjoyment, we would pay an annual tax that is calculated based on real estate values that are determined by the administration. But you don't need to be worried about it because usually it just does not exceed of 1,000 euros per year. If you want to rent, you would pay 90% of the benefit for company citizens and 24% for non-European citizens, but they cannot deduct any expenses. And very important, we may have to pay the same tax I mentioned above for the day that the home is not rented.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, basically, to summarize, it's important to highlight the fact that it's not a big difference if you buy a house off plan or if you buy secondhand. The difference in the tax is if you buy secondhand is 6.5% tax that you have to pay. If not, you pay 7%. So I know in mainland Spain, there are many projects in which the off-plan has a different taxation and makes it more or less attractive, but this is not the case in the Canary Island because the maximum tax is 7% against 6.5%. And then also, yeah, the fact that is important to understand if you want to rent the property or not. And of course, unfortunately, the people from the non-Schengen area, non-community citizens, like Brazil, Canada, or Ukraine, or Russia or so, they pay a little bit more tax in the benefit. But please, and this is true, Jesus, because we have talked about it before, you can deduct many expenses. I mean, the taxes on the rental income, the taxes that you pay are based on the netto benefit, right? So you have the income, but if you have had many expenses like community fees, like the council tax and so on, you deduct them, and then from the netto benefits is where you pay the taxes, correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, to keep going.
Yes, if we buy by a Spanish company, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Spanish company must pay a corporation tax. We need to present at the commercial register the balance sheet of the year. It is in July. If the house is put off for rent, it will pay 5% tax of the profit. But that is a tax. The current tax at the moment is 25%, but it can change in the next years. And about if we buy the property by a foreign company, it will only pay taxes in the case that it obtains rentals incomes and only for the benefit. But there are some agreements between the European countries and Spain. So sometimes they have some exceptions, and for non-community companies from the outside of the European community, they have to pay more taxes, no? So, and even the year property tax need to be paid, of course, because all the properties, doesn't matter who the owner is, need to pay the property tax. That is a tax, it belongs to the city council, and it's quite cheap. So.
Yeah. Sorry, Jesus. Yes.
No, it's okay.
Well, I mean, basically, yes, the council tax that you pay is not really significant in Tenerife. I know apartments that they are paying, a one-bedroom apartment is paying 450 euros, a two-bedroom apartment in Abama is paying 500, 550 once a year. The villas, the really big villas, they will be paying 2,500, 3,000 euros. So I know this is not really the end of the world for many people. And it's important, the fact that you mentioned before, that there are agreements for non-double taxation. So if there is an agreement between France or Germany and Spain, if you pay taxes for this house here in Spain, you don't need to pay them back in Germany or in France. Any Spanish citizen in France or Germany buying a property there will have the same benefits. This is also something already organized by the European Union. Well, to finish this presentation, because again, we don't want to make it too long, but I would like you to explain us a little bit about a very tricky subject that is the mortgages. I know this subject, the mortgages, could take a webinar, a whole webinar, and probably we will do one day to ask a bank manager to explain us a little bit more about all the particularities. But from the financial point of view, what can you say? What can you tell us about the mortgages, please? Very briefly.
Yes, not too much, because applying for a mortgage in Spain for the purchase of properties is complicated, since banks do not have a customer files, not the history of the customer, of the client. Each bank has its rules and requirements when granting a mortgage, and financing 100% is practically impossible. The more money that the future buyer can pay, the greater the probability of granting us the mortgage. However, the procedure, it will not be the same if the mortgage is requested by a Spanish company or by a natural person or foreign company.
Okay. Well, Jesus, again, this is a subject that it could take another half an hour to talk about. We want to thank you very much for your impressions. We want to thank you for your time, for being here with us. We highly recommend your services to our client. I hope the information provided was very helpful for many of them. And now we're going to be waiting here for a few minutes. Oh, by the way, I want to share with our clients the contact details of Jesus, 1 second, and so that if you need further information, you can address to him. Here is the email address and the phone contact number. And again, I really do hope the information provided was helpful. This was only some general lines to start with, to give confidence to our audience. And we will be having once a month more webinars in which we will explain the more in details each process. So stay tuned for our website. And again, we're gonna be here a few more minutes. I will let Mr. Jesus know what questions the people are proposing. And again, thank you, Jesus. And let's wait to see if our audience has any question for you.